Hi, small group leaders. We are beginning a series called World Changers. And in this series, we're going to be looking at Paul and how Paul spread the gospel even in some really difficult situations. So we're going to look at when the Jews were trying to stop Paul, because several Jewish leaders were trying to stop Paul because he was telling people not to follow the Jewish laws. And then we're going to look at when Paul was, through all of that circumstance, Paul was encouraged by God to keep going, and that he was going to continue to tell people about Jesus even in Rome. And so he's in prison. There's lots of people making plans against him. We move on, and then we see that there are some plans being made for him to be to go to trial, and he asks to be seen by Caesar because he is a Roman citizen. And so he asks King Agrippa to go to Rome to be seen by Caesar and to be judged by Caesar, fulfilling what God had told him would happen, that he would see him all the way to Rome. He gets on a ship to get there to Rome, and they have problems on the boat. There's a big storm that rises up. But even in the middle of all of that, Paul is a prisoner on this ship, but he's encouraging everybody else and really taking care of them, like encouraging them to eat and encouraging them that God said everybody's going to make it through this. And so he was able to share Jesus even in the middle of some really tough situations that could have been really bad for him as the ship was wrecked on the shores. And then after the shipwreck, we're going to look at Paul's time in prison while he is in Rome. And the idea here is that while he was in prison, he still found reasons to be joyful. You know, Paul has experienced so many things all the way through, and so we hope that during that time that we'll actually get a chance to talk to kids about what the difference between happiness and joy is. And I know that's been something that I've worked on for the last year for sure, in the middle of some what I didn't know was going to be a trying season with Becca's health and other things, and Nick going off to school and all those other things. God had already impressed upon me that I needed to figure out what this joy was and to live in joy. And I can tell you that by choosing joy instead of being overwhelmed by the situations that you're in, I have found so much hope, so much peace in the middle of some really trying stuff. Not near like what Paul experienced, but I can tell you that joy is definitely the thing that has helped me get through this last year. And then we will finish by looking at some things that Paul writes in Colossians to the church in Colossae. And that's a church in Rome. And so obviously he's made it to Rome just like God promised he would. And because he did, and because he was faithful in all of the things that God needed him to do, he's able to go on and preach to them through his letter, even though he's in jail still, and encourage them that Jesus is the image of the invisible God. Jesus is the creator, and he is king. And because of all of those things, because he was there in the very beginning, we can trust him in the big and hairy stuff that happens to us throughout our lives. I'm excited to do this series with you guys. I'm excited to do it with our kids. And this will take us all the way to the end of August. Back to School Sunday will be, or Move Up Sunday will be August 19th, so that'll hit us. Oh no, never mind, I'm in the wrong series, working on two things at the same time. This gets us through July. This series gets us all the way through July. And then we will pick up last week of July with a new series and get all the way back to school. So I hope you're enjoying your summer. I want to invite those of you who are looking for ways to be engaged with the party to check out the website. All of the information is on our new website. If you haven't downloaded the Parkway app, you should do that as well. All of our curriculum is on the app. A bunch of our videos are available on the app, and you can have that with you everywhere you go. It's free, available in the App Store for Android and Apple products. And then last thing, if you're trying to figure out how you could be a part of a party but you don't really want to host one, please get with me. There's a few people that are willing to host, but they need some help. Or you can come with me on the 28th of June. We're going to go down to Bloomington and pour into the families living down there in Bloomington. We have several of them that have been a part of Parkway already, and they know we're coming, and they're excited to share everything we do with their friends. So our first week, we're just going to go. We're going to take some bubbles and a few games to play. I'm going to take some food to feed everybody, and really the first week we go, we're just going to go spend some time and make relationships with kids. Then the student impact team is going to come back in 2 weeks after that and do a party with them, and then after their party is over, we're going to go back and do some more stuff. So I'm excited about the partnership we can do in Bloomington. I encourage you to find the same thing that you can do in your community or with your people or with your families. The party is a great way for us to do ministry with our kids. Most of you have young kids. One of the ways that my kids have grown into people who are sure of their faith is by having opportunities to serve from very young. And so I think all three of them would tell you that is definitely a big part of what has shaped their faith. And so I know that your kids can experience the same thing. Now that doesn't fix all the kid things, but it definitely helps you know that when they are where Nick is right now, ready to head off, that they're ready to go face the world, and that they have a faith community behind them cheering them on. I love you guys, and thank you so much for leading. Can't wait to see what happens in this series called World Changers.